Hi everybody, welcome to the channel Dad's Night to Cook. I'm your professionally amateur, always tasty, non-time committing, home cooking dad, Chef Manny, letting you there out know when it's your night to cook. You don't have to pick up a phone and order takeout because a home cooked meal can be found in your pantry and refrigerator, having your kids screaming, oh my gosh, it's Dad's Night to Cook. Well, Happy New Year to you all, and what a new year it has been. I don't know why I thought I was fooled to say that when the new year chimed in, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, woo, Happy New Year, that everything was going to be poof, removed, because we had a year, 2020 with Miss Rona and all the shenanigans. Lord, why did I think that maybe this week, this start would just be all new and made fresh? But what a week we've had. Now, I'm not trying to be political on this channel. I'm not. But y'all, come on. This week, the first week of this new year, come on. All right. So for tonight's menu, we're going to have an Indian-inspired meal. Yum. I'm going to make a curry seafood dish that has curry, coconut milk, vegetables, prawns, white fish. Oh, it's so delicious. And it's going to go with some rice. Starting with our Indian-inspired curry meal, what I'm calling Chef Manny's curry concoction. All right, let's check out the refrigerator and pantry. Okay, y'all, let's get started on the dessert portion of our Indian-inspired meal today. Now, one of the tags that I had when we started this channel was that I wasn't going to cook things that we haven't heard of. So like, remember, if we haven't heard of it, we ain't cooking it. But this particular Indian-inspired dessert, I've had many times after an Indian restaurant, and you had, I'm sure you've had. It's called Gulab Jamun. Okay, Gulab Jamun is pretty much, let's just take it down to Chef Manny's kitchen version. It's just milk donut balls soaked in sugar water. I'm telling you, when you have these little sugar balls, you're going to make them almost every day. You're going to want to make them almost every day. All right, let's get our ingredients because I think I have all the ingredients I need in my pantry. Let's get them all and get these jamun, these Gulab Jamuns cooking. Okay. All right, we're going to go get our ingredients for our Indian-inspired things, but dessert. But I wanted to show you this little lovely apron that I received for the holidays. Oh, isn't it wonderful? It features a rooster, or in France, we say coq. So it features my wonderful coq on this apron. Lovely. And as you, at one point I'm going to pan and you're going to see a collection of coq on my kitchen. So even we need some flour for our dessert. So there's my flour canister featuring Mr. Cook. Oh, that didn't look right, but yeah, okay. So we'll need some flour. We'll need some dry milk, powdered milk. Yeah, you know I have some dry powdered milk somewhere. But we'll need some, okay, it's a dry powdered milk. We'll need an ingredient that you might not really have heard of. It's called cardamom. Cardamom is made from the ginger plant. It features some of the, things from the ginger plant. So we'll need some cardamom. We'll need some sugar. We'll need some, like I said, flour. And some of the other ingredients. So let's get all our ingredients together, because you know you have these things in your pantry. I promise you. So one of the other ingredients that I put in to make it Chef Manny special is what? Some nutmeg. All right. So as promised, you can look up and see my collection of coq in the kitchen, which is French for rooster. My coq kitchen, coq collection. Anyway, so let's get started with the sugar water that we'll need for our Gulab Jamun. So the recipe does call for rose water, but Chef Manny ain't got no rose water. No. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in that that spice, the cardamom, which comes from the ginger family and some other spices they made seeds, and I'm going to use a ground cardamom, and I'm going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, to replace what is called for my rose water. You can use rose water, but I don't have any rose water, so I'm going to supplement the rose water with the cardamom and the nutmeg. So let's just get 2 cups of sugar in here, 2 cups of water, and get that all going. So over a medium heat, we're going to add 2 cups of granulated sugar to our pot here. And we're going to add 2 cups of water to our pot. And as this gets heated up a little bit, we'll add, like I said, the cardamom, a quarter teaspoon of cardamom, and a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg. And later on, we're going to put some lemon. Now, the lemon juice, the half teaspoon of lemon juice is going to keep the sugar from crystallizing over your milk donuts. All right, so let's work on the milk donut balls, the gulab jamun, and get that going. Now, while our sugar soap that is going to go in is already ready and heated up and then pushed to the side for us to add those to it. Now, one of the ingredients that's called in traditional Indian cooking of gulab jamun or our donut balls is ghee. Ghee is pretty much just a clarified butter. There's a whole process that's very simple and easy. Woo, that clock! Okay, we got two grandfather clocks in this house. One in the living room and one in this kitchen dining room. And yeah. All right, ding dong. So one of the other substitutes, you can go ahead and make a ghee. Ghee has, because what happens is pretty much what ghee is just butter separated from the fat. It soaks, when you boil it, it goes down to the bottom, it starts to brown, and it gets you know, as a brown butter or clarified butter, but pretty much that's the process. A very simple process, but you know, I just don't have the time to go and do some clarified butter. And the only recipe I do use clarified butter for is when I'm eating some shrimps maybe, and then, you know, have some clarified butter melted down and so you can dip it in. But butter works, canola oil works, coconut oil works, ghee. But ghee makes it taste a little bit better. And then if you want a more formal Indian gulab jamun, then you would use the ghee. But today, Chef Manny version, we're going to use just some butter, room temperature butter. All right, let's get started with our gulab jamun. Okay, so we have our mixture for our gulab jamun. So what we'll need is, we have it all in place. We'll have our 1 cup of dry milk powder. And dry milk powder kind of, it doubles in size once cooked, you know, because it's dried milk and then it's in this powder form, but then it opens up. So we're gonna add another 3 tablespoons of just all-purpose flour to our batter. And then you're just going to use your hands to just kind of pressure it together. And at this point, I'm going to add my baking powder and my cardamom. Okay? And just going to just put that in there together. Give it a little mix again. Now, remember, this is the point where we would add the ghee. But ladies and gentlemen, we don't have time to make ghee right now. But we're going to use 2 tablespoons of just room temperature butter, okay? 2 tablespoons is 2 pats. So that's 1. And there we go with 2. Now, you're not going to mix it. You're just going to kind of like pressure it in, you know, kind of just pressure it in like a stabbing effect, like a milling it together kind of effect. And then we have a 1/2 cup of warm milk. Now, you don't want it hot boiling, you just want it warm. Like I put it in my microwave in the warmer setting. And we're going to mix in that 1/2 cup of milk to combine this mixture. Again, we don't need to knead the mixture, we just need to incorporate it and get it together. So we have our ghee mix, and so what we're going to do is we're going to let it rest for a little bit. Kind of get it off your fingers. It's a sticky consistency. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna let it rest for about 10 minutes. We'll cover it up, let it rest, and continue our ghee. So that's what it should look like when you're done. All right. Okay, y'all. So our gulab jamun or our milk donuts have been resting for 20 minutes. So what we're gonna do is just gonna give it a quick roll, and we're gonna pinch some of this dough out and ball them into a ball. Okay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a pinch of them and then roll them into a ball till there's no cracks. So you want them to cook slow and low, on a low heat, slow, so the inside can get all brown. Give them a little stir up to get golden brown, and then we're gonna transport them onto our towel to just get some of the oil off of them, and then we're gonna stick them into our sugar water concoction that we made earlier. So they're starting to brown up, and that's what you're gonna have. You're gonna have like a little hush puppy consistency in color and size. So what I did was I'm going to transfer my milk donuts balls into my tureen, and I'm going to put my sugar water that we made earlier into the tureen so they can soak. It's going to take about 2 hours for them to fully incorporate with this delicious goodness. And I'm just going to pour them in and let them soak up in there, let them float around in there for a good 2 hours in this covered dish. And there we have our gulab jamun for our dessert later on. Now, for our curry Indian inspired meal, I'm going to use completely leftovers that I had in my refrigerator, okay? So we're going to just use, I had some, later on we're gonna use some shrimp to go into this dish. But what I did was I had some raw shrimp, and I've took the tails off, but I've used the juice and the tails that were left over, and I'm gonna use that to cook my white fish, my bag of leftover white fish. I have some pollock, I have some tilapia, so whatever white fish you have up in there. I'm gonna need some green onions. What is this? Cilantro? We got some cilantro, because I usually use fresh cilantro, but my garden, I just used it recently, so ain't none to pluck, none to harvest. So I had to go and buy some cilantro, but there's some leftover cilantro from the other day. I'm going to need, I had like these bags of green, red green and red peppers with some onions. It's like 2 open bags. I don't know why they both were open when one should have been used before. Oh, who knows? The refrigerator tell me to shut the door, keep out the devil. What else will I need? I'll take the shrimp out later. Let's see, from my refrigerator, I'm going to use some garlic. We're gonna need some garlic, and we're gonna, you know what else we're gonna need? We're gonna need some coconut milk. Now, you know I have coconut milk all over the place, all over town. I'm gonna use some coconut milk from the pantry. So what I'll need is I'll take some ginger, I'll take the ground cardamom again, I'll take some red pepper flakes, and we're gonna also need the host of this evening event. We're going to need our curry. So we're gonna make essentially we're gonna make a yellow curry. You know, in Indian dishes there's the red curry and then there's red curry, but we're gonna use the yellow curry for our dish. So let's get started on this. We're going to use our wok to start cooking our white fish, because we want our white fish to be soft and tender and buttery. So we're going to cook it with the shrimp tails that we had in the leftover water, and then we're going to fish out the shrimp tails after it's been cooking for a little bit with a little bit of seasoning, some salt and pepper. Okay, let's get started. All right, everybody, our white fish has been cooking with our shrimp tails in it. And like I wanted this to do, I wanted it to break up to become a nice, like, We don't want it to become too crumbly, but we want it to break up into these bigger chunks into smaller bite-sized chunks. And remember, we had the leftover packs of green and red peppers and onions. So we want to put that in there. So we're going to put it with all of the liquids because we want to not have to add any liquids, just add these rendered theirs down. So we're going to add that. And this are all in one kind of dish recipe today. And what I did was I had a green onion that I was going to put in there. I know the pack had some onions in it, but the green onion is going to just give it a little hint of a different flavor. And I got a few sprigs of cilantro or cardamom, of cilantro. And we're just going to add that in there. And we're going to let that cook it down for a little bit. And then we're going to add our other ingredients to this spice. Okay, so our dish has been been cooking for about 5 minutes, and now we're ready to add our dry ingredients. So what we have is a teaspoon of cardamom, a teaspoon of ginger, a tablespoon of red pepper flakes, and a tablespoon and a half of curry powder. I'm just going to add that all into there and give it a nice toss. And then we're going to add our wet ingredients, which will consist of our coconut milk and our garlic. Automatically, instantly, this starts taking on that curry smell. It smells so delicious. You wouldn't believe it. It just smells so good. All right, now we're going to add the rest of our wet ingredients. As you can see, our dish is coming up nicely. So we're going to add 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. It's not a very garlicky kind of dish, so we're not adding too much garlic. And then we're going to add our coconut milk. Before you open it up, give your coconut milk a good shake just to get it all rendered out. And as you can see, it's starting to blend in together. But if you could smell this curry, oh, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord, it smells so good. And what we're going to do is we're just going to let this rest for a little bit, cook it up for a little bit with the cover on. And when we remove the cover, this is going to take about 7 minutes. We're going to add our raw shrimp to the top of it just so it can get pink. And this dish will be ready to go. All right, so our Indian inspired concoction has been cooking for a little bit. So before I put the raw shrimp in, I'm gonna give it a little taste because after I put the shrimp in, I kind of not wanna cook it anymore. I'm kind of just gonna leave it with the top on and let it simmer in its own juice. So I'm gonna give it a little taste. My God. Oh, my Lord, that's good. Oh, got the right kick. That curry's coming through. The coconut milk. So I'm going to add my shrimp. What I did was I only had a few shrimp. You know, I only had a few leftovers. So I chopped them into quarters because we just want some bite size when we eat. But we want every bite to have at least a little piece of shrimp and some fish, of course. So I'm just going to turn off the heat and cover this up and let this simmer on low. Turn down the heat, not turn it off, but on a low. And when we're done, we're going to plate this up. We're going to make some rice and we're going to plate up our Indian-inspired concoction. Our table is set. I'm filming for myself, so that's why it's a little janky. Our table is set. We said a quick grace, so let's taste this thing. So, you know, sometimes food don't always look as good as you want it, because, you know, this kind of just look like some mush, but it's not. Sometimes the flavor supersedes what it looked like. So we had some rice. I already given this a taste test, but with the rice and the shrimp, Lord have mercy. This Indian-inspired Chef Man concoction is wonderful. Let's set that over to the side and taste our little gulab jamun, which is we said it's just milk donuts and soaked in some sugar water. So these things been soaking. Like I said, there's little donuts cooked, fried, and soaked in this sugar water. You're gonna enjoy this Indian-inspired meal and dessert. Thank you for joining me. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to share, to like, to comment, to subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you know when new episodes have been posted. All right. Thanks for joining me on Dad's Night to Cook. And remember, a home-cooked meal is on your pantry and refrigerator away.
From the pantry, he'll take a look to see what we'll dine on tonight. What you gonna cook, Dad? What we gonna eat? His recipe's great, it is a must. When he cooks, he makes believe and trust, and a wonderful meal on the table. Yummy for a tummy. It is as night to cook.